I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
And this is...
Brighter Side of Grey.
1,500 subscribers?
No, the Brighter Side of Grey by Five Finger Death Punch. This one, it's for Justin, but he's actually dedicating this song to his cousin, Alex.
Shout out to the big homie Alex.
He died in a motorcycle crash, which is pretty sad. He's got, he's got some pictures here that I'll post in the video. The red bike is his, and it was pretty cool though. Justin, see his red bike by there. He took a piece of his cousin's bike because I guess he always wanted to make it to a place. I think the place is called Sturgis. He always wanted to make it there and was never able to. Yeah, he had a dream to ride up to Sturgis, but didn't make it this year, so I brought him up there with me. So that sucks pretty bad. So this is being dedicated to him.
That's cool though. That's good. Was his cousin?
Yeah, I like it when families are close.
Yeah. Rest in peace to the big homie. Mm-hmm. He died in an accident? Holy shit, man.
Yeah.
For timely topical political commentary, you can hit us up in Middle America with Vin and Sori. The channel is now featuring the great DL Beluga as my partner in crime. Yeah, that's tough. There are multiple ways to get your song reviewed. Just give me a second. Alright, let's just go in the video.
Yeah, I agree.
The best parts of me locked away without the keys, and know that I'm forever by your side. When the lights go down, know that I am never far away. When the sun burns out, I'll be waiting on the brighter side of gray. If you're reading this, I know you're feeling sorrow. If you're hearing this, I know you're probably scared. Just know that all the things you wanna borrow, and all you get to keep is all you shared. So wipe away the tears from me. Know that we've made history. Remember, no one ever really dies. When the lights go down, know that I am never far away. When the sun
tough, bro. I had my best friend, shout out to Tristan in Florida, who was responsible for the best summer of my life as a kid. We played baseball all day. I always used to tell everybody, Tristan is the best baseball player in the state. Yeah, he taught me how to play. We didn't get along with each other actually. We were new to the neighborhood, and my brother. So it was me and my brother versus Tristan and Floyd in football, backyard football, and I just wanted to run the ball because I was stocky and they were both like rail thin. So they couldn't stop me running, but my brother was like obsessed with Joe Montana. He kept wanting to do pass plays. Anyway, he wouldn't, so I was getting more and more angry with my brother. I'm like, dude, just pass the ball. I'm like, just give me the ball. I'll try to do these little 5-step out routes or whatever. It's like, no, go for the bomb. So anyway, they ended up winning. Well, actually, they were winning, and then Tristan kept talking shit. So finally, like, this is the first time we met him, played with him, whatever. And I just went after him. And then Floyd jumped on me. And then my brother, because my brother was 3 years older than all of us, and he pulled us aside and told him. We didn't talk to those dudes for like a year. Like we'd be on the bike trail together going to school. Like we wouldn't talk to them. And I don't know what happened, how we just started talking to each other or something like that. Because we used to call them the twins because they looked like, there was a very big height difference. Floyd had like 2 or 3 inches on Tristan. So anyway, that summer we started hanging out with each other, and then it was crazy because Florida, you have so many more hours of sunlight.
Yeah.
And so I just get up because I was, football, taekwondo, that was my stuff, and baseball, I didn't really. Baseball is a boring sport to watch unless it's like, October baseball, which is like everything's on the line. But holy moly, it is a fun sport to play. So we would just play, and they would just run me through drills over and over again, ground balls, all that. I had a good arm, but my accuracy was all over the place. Tristan taught me how to do that. Aim with your elbow, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, man, and so his mom was like, hey, you want to come to a game? And I was like, oh, no doubt. So I went to a game, and Tristan just completely controlled the game from start to finish. Ridiculous. He was a pitcher, and he was a hitter, which usually that's like those are mutually exclusive. But, yeah. But he just controlled the game, and he wasn't an athlete at all. Like he wasn't like me and Floyd were like athletically gifted. Tristan wasn't, but he was just the best. Like he was insane. Like his accuracy was crazy. So then next season I jumped on. And we just ran the thing. Me, Tristan, and Floyd on the same team. It's like a murder lineup. It was insane. All the parents were mad and shit. Because Floyd would just send that shit. They had me at shortstop. They had Floyd out in center. It was insane. That was the best summer of my life. And then we moved. I moved away, and like I always do. That one was tough. Leaving that neighborhood was tough. Because I had moved so many times before that, but leaving the neighborhood was tough. And my mom like picked him up one time to come hang out with me. The next place that we were was completely different. It was one of those situations where we just like left it.
Is that, like you'll say like, when people move on, they move on. That's just it. Like you can't stay best friends with everybody forever. Do you think that situation impacted that mindset? Because
100%.
like visiting him again after and having like that feeling like it would have been better just to leave it in that summer?
100%.
Yeah.
It's like Jordan going to the Wizards. Like nobody even counts that. It's like him actually being there. But yeah. So and then we moved out of state. Completely lost touch with them, and then somehow when I was in the Bronx, my mom got a hold of them. So we're talking to Tristan Floyd. Then I moved out of the Bronx and back here, and then I found their mom Patty. I found them on Facebook, and I'm like, yo, what's good, blah blah blah. She's like, well, Floyd's dead. And I was like, yo, Tris, what happened to Floyd, bro? He's like, yeah, man, Floyd was always like unstable. Like he was always like, Floyd would literally lose his mind for 2-3 minutes at a pop, and stuff would just set him off, and he literally could not control himself. Like, and people were scared to death of him. I mean, like, he was, funniest dude on the planet, but he just couldn't control himself. And I remember one time, like, we had my brother, my little brother came to play, and I didn't like my little brother when I was a kid, and I was like, yo, Floyd, don't touch Jamie. Because the thing about Floyd was, like, if you messed up and if you made an error, like, he wanted to win so bad. And if he was the reason, he'd hit himself. Like, that's how he was. And sure enough, Jamie, like, he didn't close out on a ground ball or whatever, and I took the bases or whatever. He went after Jamie, and Jamie screamed. He's like, ah! And he ran as fast as he could. But Floyd, like, I'm not making excuses I know he said make excuses for people, but he would get himself to a point where he, like, legitimately could not control himself. So his grandfather died. He got in a fight with his girlfriend. They lost a pretty close game, and he just went home and killed himself.
That's one of those situations where, like, sometimes you feel like that person was going to do it no matter what.
100%.
But at the same time, like, with that story, I feel like if he'd have just waited till the morning.
Yeah, his grandfather
I feel like it was one of those rash decisions that he made.
Oh yeah, it's like I said, it's 2 minutes. That was the thing with Floyd. It's 2 minutes. Like, the whole day, those 2 minutes. Like, you take those 2 minutes out, he was like he was more fun than Tristan. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I love Tristan the most because we related to each other the most. But it was one of those things where, like, if you knew him, it was like, yeah. But the thing is his grandfather was like, because they didn't have a dad, his grandfather was like the patriarch of the house. Like, he kept everything, like, it was really interesting because they were a mixed race family, so everybody in the house was white. They were the only black.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And the granddad was like, he was just the rock of the family, and it was weird because, like, he didn't talk a lot. But, like, he would be able to center Floyd. So, like, if he was outside when Floyd was having a meltdown, he'd be like, Floyd! And, like, Floyd would stop him immediately. And then he died. Mm-hmm. And then he lost the baseball game, and then stuff happened with his girlfriend. He just went home. Yeah, it was just, they had it rough, man. Their mom had AIDS and all this, and there's a big thing in my family. Like, my mom's in the medical field, so she was like, she had a really hard time letting me, still be friends with them. This is like 93, 94.
Yeah.
It's not like today,
right.
Kudos to my mom. That was a really big act of faith. Like, she had to go to church and all that because Tristan told me that his mom had AIDS, like, I don't know, a year into it, and he told me not to tell anybody, so I didn't tell anybody. Mm-hmm. You know how I am. People say don't say something, I'm not gonna say anything. And and then their mom called my mom like 4 or 5 months later, said, I gotta tell you something. And she told her. My mom was like, so she came to me, she's like, you knew this for 3 or 4 months? You didn't? She's like, she's yelling and screaming at me. I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. My friend tells me I have to say something. I'm not gonna say nothing. Obviously, now as a parent, I'm like, well.
The thing is, I see similarities between you and Johan, and that's what would freak me out. Like, I feel like, you might drink off the drain, you know what I mean?
We
like,
did.
Yeah, exactly.
We did.
Exactly.
Not really much changed, as far as I was concerned. Like, that was my guy, I loved him, whatever. Like, how I am with my friends, whatever. But, that's why it's like, that was a real significant, relationship to me, like, because we would have, we were boys, we'd have fights and all. It was really weird because after that, if me and Tristan had a fight, me and Floyd had a fight, it was like a one-on-one thing. The other one would it was like I was like a third brother, basically, mm-hmm. which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And like, we just understood each other, like, things got really, we were all pretty high-strung. Things would get hectic. We'd say stuff, yada yada. But it was like, all right, tomorrow, and he'd be at my house. Like, the next, we'd be blood, everything. Like, and then I'd, he'd be at the house the next morning because I was always like, my stepdad would just he'd be like, Tristan, listen. Okay, I'm just gonna leave the door open, and you come sit on the couch, okay? But stop knocking on the door and waking us up, right? Because Tristan be there like 8 a.m. sharp.
Yeah.
So I'd wake up, he'd be in my room, he'd like, get up, Vin, come on, we gotta play.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah, and then we'd play Lost Vikings and all that shit. So that was like the best summer of my life. And then I came home one day, and you know, we had a little handshake, or whatever. And then Mr. Man was like, he's like, you love Tristan, huh? You love him?
Were you okay with that phraseology, or nah, don't say that?
I was like,
Yeah.
We never said that shit to each other.
Yeah.
But like,
but it was obvious.
That was my man, you know.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So it was like the three of us, man. We did that the entire summer, and then obviously lost track. But like, that's the thing. Like, I have like significant relationships like that, or relationships with my best friend in the Bronx, where like our lives were like,
yeah.
It was, and I think it's like, I think with me, it's got to kind of be that extreme to count it as a real friendship, because we moved around so much that I'm just so used to creating a lot of shallow, you know, type of relationships that are not really going to go anywhere, and people misinterpret it like, you know, but, you know, so anyway, I was like, yo, man, just tell me what happened, bro. So he's like, yeah, man, because he's the one that ended up finding him, you know, and he was like, yeah, it was a tough conversation. That was tough, and he was, but at the same time, like, he had this girl that he found, and they were having a kid. He was pretty excited about that. We talk about baseball, and I was, you know, I had been in New York for so many years, so I was like, Jeter this, Jeter's the greatest. He was like, man, Jeter sucks, blah, blah, blah. And the Marlins had beaten the Yankees like a couple years ago with Josh Beckett or whatever. So like, it was a cool conversation. And then I was talking to him, because we were gonna do, I forgot something, we were gonna talk about something or other, like, because we would talk or whatever, and like, yeah, we'll talk about this or whatever. And then his buddy put an RIP thing on his Facebook page, and I was like, no, that's Floyd. And I was like, I can't be Tristan, obviously, because I just got done talking to him on the phone. So I found the guy. I'm like, yo, why are you saying that shit, bro? He's like, he was saying a whole bunch of irrational shit. I said, here's my number, call me. So the guy calls me, he's breathing heavy and all this shit. And I'm like, yo, calm down, man, what the fuck is wrong with you? And he was like, he was driving, and it's crazy because, like, they didn't move. So he's like, yo, we're driving on Babcock Street, there's an intersection over there in Palm Bay. And Tris was on a bike, he's one of these motorcycle people.
That's what happened to Alex.
And so he got clipped, and he flew like 50 feet or some shit like that. Ugh. And so the dude was at the scene. Like, while he was talking to me, he was at the scene.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, he's like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, there's giant accident, cops everywhere, ambulance, EMT everywhere. And, you know, when that happens, just out of curiosity, everybody kind of jumps out and crowds around, and he didn't realize it was Tristan until, like,
oh my gosh,
the paramedics were digging in his pants or whatever for his
oh my gosh, that's awful.
Well, so like, they moved, and he saw it was Tristan, and like, he was clearly not alive anymore. So like, he had posted that, and he was still there. Like, I could still hear cops in the background.
Oh my gosh.
And yeah, he died instantly. Like,
oh, it's terrible.
Yeah, on the bike. That bike shit is crazy. You know, my brother got a bike a couple of years back, and like, he was at this new apartment complex or something. So like, I followed him, and it was like, I don't know, I was just like, the whole time, like, not a fan of it. Yeah, I told you, like, if my kids ever got a motorcycle, like, I would disable it. I would destroy it. I would literally, I don't give a fuck if they're like where they live. I would literally go to their house and like destroy it, like make it inoperable. Like, I don't want anybody close to me riding bikes, bro.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
that shit was just crazy to me, man. It was like, wow. And then like, yeah, it was hard, man. That was there's not a lot of people that like I carry with me, like, you know what I mean? There's some people where it's like you go on purpose to be in bad situations because you believe in some higher cause, whatever. And so like everybody has the understanding, like, okay, it's, you know, you might not go home or whatever, but you know, and somebody dies in that situation, like it's terrible, but it's just different because everybody expects that something really, really bad can happen. But
but some of it's just like Alex. He was 23 years old. This just happened in July. He said he was always a happy-go-lucky, fun-loving, motorcycle riding, have a few drinks with family and friends type of guy. You know what I mean? Like just 23.
Tris, like he out of the three of us, he was the Jiminy Cricket.
Yeah.
Because everybody knows how I am, and then Floyd was just, you know. Floyd was great too, except for those 2 minutes. And Floyd was also a terrible winner.
Oh yeah, he put it right in your face.
Well, one time, you know, he was on second. He was the fastest guy on the team. He was in second, and it was a tie game. And the way that they play it is, if you end on a tie, then you both basically, you know, it's like the tie goes to your record. So it's not a loss, but it's not a win. And so it was bottom of the 11th. They were only going to go 11 innings. And so I was up, and no, he was on first. Usually if you hit a single when somebody's on second, they're going to score. So Tris goes, Vin! Base, and I'm lining up. He's like, Vin, all I need is a single on these bitches. Which they should have threw him out of the game, but the game was so close that they weren't going to do that. You know what I'm saying? He's like,
why? Because he cursed?
Yeah, I mean, we were kids.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, all the people.
Yeah.
And then my mom was like, go on, Vincent, go on, show them. So I get up there. I wanted to send that shit so bad because I hated that picture. And but our coach, the manager was basically signaled, just go for a single, because, you know, I don't really, to be honest, I don't know enough about baseball to understand. I just listen to what the coach said. So I go in there and boom. So I line that shit up past the shortstop, which really you wanted to send it to right field, but you know, I wasn't very good at placing. But anyway, well, I start going, Floyd starts running. He rounds third. Tris goes, Floyd, stop! Floyd! Because Tristan was right after me. And
Yeah.
Tristan had the best average for hitting.
Yeah.
So everybody's like, Floyd, stop! I'm like, fuck that, Floyd, go, go, go! It was me and Floyd were the only ones. Everybody's telling him, Floyd, he starts trucking it, so they get their shortstop. Their shortstop was really good. He was like me, had a rocket arm, but terrible accuracy. And he sent that shit over the catcher's head. Floyd slides in, and we're all like, I was like, yeah, I told you, nigga, yeah. And the coach was losing it. He was throwing shit all over the place. It was such a, he was like, fuck all of you, fuck every single one of you, he says.
Who said that?
Floyd, he went right in there.
God.
He's like, fuck you, my man just hit a da-da-da. Yeah, he was such a terrible winner. He was such a terrible winner. And Tristan was like, yo, Vin. So I ran over, I took him away, and he was like, and they said something reckless. I was like, what are you gonna do?
Oh my God.
It was so, he was hard. Can you, I don't know if anybody could imagine it, but just imagine somebody worse than me at winning. Like,
oh my, I cannot stand, when we're not on the same team, you're intolerable. It makes me so angry. I can't stand it.
that was a beautiful, it was an amazing night.
And we always, anytime that we're not on the same team, there's always like, you say you're not cheating and I swear you are cheating. We did this bowling game where it was like candlepin bowling, so it's like smaller and the little balls, and you have to count it for yourself. So Vin was knocking down more sticks than I was seeing him knock down, and then when it was my turn, I was not knocking down as much as he was. So it was like, I'm like, you cheated, and so like he won, but it was like he had cheated, and that's how he won. And so like
Nobody cheated, nothing.
see, and this is how it goes every time. We play Monopoly, same thing happened. We played not categories. What is that one
I forgot one.
where you have to
Yeah, you had
draw
the
on the
big- you had the
board and
big
stuff.
meltdown.
Oh, I was super angry. And like I've come to the point where I'm like, I don't want to be not on your team. I just don't. I don't like that.
Yeah, nobody wanted to be not on our team on that one. And that dude, the pitcher went to school with me, so he knew. He knew that
I
shit.
don't wanna fight about
He
it
knew we were
anymore.
going to be intolerable for that whole week.
Oh my word! And you're so loud about it. You go
We're
on and on and
I'm
on.
trying. I have a picture of all of us together. I hope I can find it.
Oh, yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, because all of us were together, and it was like, you know, we were the Athletics with the green shirt, yellow writing. But oh yeah, that was such a craze. The whole, because like that encapsulated everything. Like Floyd being crazy, going from first to freaking home. You know, like Tristan being rational and saying, "Stay where you are."
Stop,
I got the numbers.
yeah.
Just go to third. I got the number to stay in third. And me saying, "Fuck that, Floyd, go!"
That's a cute like summertime.
Yeah, he slid in. Oh my gosh, that feeling, man. Like I really want the kids to get in team sports, man, because
I know.
losing sucks so bad, especially when you're the reason. It sucks so bad to lose. But I'm telling you, winning like that is like, honestly, like those. It is so hard to describe how fun it, and we're just in a sandlot. Like I cannot imagine the feeling that you must get. It's like the craziest high of all time. So shout out to the big homie Floyd. Shout out to Tristan and Floyd.
Shout out to Alex.
You know, shout out to Alex and Shala. They're all out there. Either Tristan is showing dude how to ride around or whatever, or he's like, "Hey man, Alex, have you considered baseball?" Guaranteed. That's
Well,
how he
which
was.
one? Tristan or Floyd?
Tris.
Which one did the motorcycle?
Tris died on the motorcycle.
Tristan? Yeah, so maybe they're riding together.
Yeah. Inshallah. That's
This one was different for me because it was sad, but it was also like kind of up,
Triumphant,
like the
yeah.
brighter side of gray and stuff. So I thought that was cool. So that kind of gave it more points for me because, obviously it's when tragedy strikes, it's extremely heartbreaking. So that's really horrible. But then the song was kind of, I don't know. But maybe it was written from the perspective of someone that was still here. Maybe that's what made it a little bit easier. Like,
Yeah.
Because if somebody's writing about the person that they've lost, it's like you feel the most like depressed about it and stuff. But
it's one of those things where maybe the person has like, you know, some terminal disease or something, and so they know they're gonna die. So, you know, they write.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
If you're reading this, then.
Yeah, I used to do that in my journals all the time. Like if I was in conflict with somebody, usually it was my dad,
You'd say what?
I would write an entry to him. If you're reading this, because I'm dead. I don't really hate you. You know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But anyway, shout out to you, Justin.
Yeah, that's a good. No, I agree with you though. Like the riff behind it was very like triumphant, like you're gonna overcome it, which is one of the things about metal that you know you can't really replicate in another genre of music. And I'm not saying other genres of music don't have good, you know, tributes to their dead, because they all do. But just something about metal, man. Because there's so many different ways you can go than just normal, and I think they did a really good job. But it's I listen to stuff like this, and it's like it's really interesting how we deal with death, because like right now we're recording this on Halloween,
right?
And so there's this sort of like cartoonization of death in Halloween.
Yep.
And it's sort of like it's one of those things that's always the elephant in the room, you know, and it's more pronounced to some people than others. Being around so many people that have died, and you know, the whole "I was just with them yesterday" type situation. I was on the phone with Tris like 20 minutes before all that shit happened, bro. So like, I don't know, but it's very interesting the way that human beings deal with death. I mean, you got Halloween and people sort of start to incarnate or embody the dead literally with the you know, costumes or whatever, and then you've got, you know, was it Dia de los Muertos or whatever, the Day of the Dead in Spanish culture. But then you have songs like this that are kind of mournful, but at the same time triumphant. There's just a lot of angles that human beings use to tackle death. And of course, as a Christian, you know, it to me, the greatest gift that God has given me is just the gift of the knowledge that I'm going to rise from the dead, and the people that I love are going to rise from the dead.
Yeah.
Like, that's such a gift to me that I, you know, people are going to misinterpret. I just feel bad for anybody that doesn't have that surety, that knowledge. You know what I mean? But for me, you know, when I was a kid, Jesus dying was a really big thing for me, because I was always getting punished, and like literally 40% of the time I was getting punished for shit I didn't do. So the concept of like Jesus dying and being punished for something he didn't do on my behalf was very compelling for me, although I was a big Old Testament person when I was a kid, you know. But it wasn't until like people just started dying, you know. The first one was actually my aunt's kid. She was like 7 months along and she miscarried, and that was like the first funeral I went to. Ugh. And like I was kind of like Johan, I was like a happy-go-lucky, ha ha ha. But then like when the little box went in the
my God,
like, that was like the first time like we'd ever done that, you know. So, and then the years go by, like people start dropping like flies, man. It was crazy, you know. And then obviously being in the Bronx, you know, it's gonna, you know. So it, you know, it got to the point where I think like in the Bronx I was like desensitized to it, you know, seeing people shut up and all that, and like, you know, looking at him, and I remember in my head, I'm like, there's no way this guy's gonna, these people aren't gonna come in time. He was bleeding out, he was, you know, on TV people get hit and it's just very clean death. Like that's not how it is. Like it's a very disgusting process. So I don't know. So I just kind of you kind of have to be desensitized to all that shit, you know. And then obviously after 9/11, but like, so I've come to really the emptiness of Jesus's tomb has become very, very important.
Yeah.
Very important, you know.
Yep.
Like and it's something that I believe in more. I am more certain of that than that I am sitting next to you. And I get it. It sounds crazy to people, and like, you know, like I'm not gonna launch into this giant apologetics thing. I just, to me, I'm very grateful that I can believe that. So, but yeah, and you know, I believe I'm gonna see him again, and I believe inshallah Floyd can find some peace. Before we moved away and everything, my mom, we all went to church together. It was crazy because the pastor went to Patty, and it's like one of these little.
Is that the mom?
Yeah, one of these Pentecostal churches, you know, where they have all this prophetic stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And but he made a beeline to Patty. He was praying hardcore for her. Like, yeah, it's pretty crazy. But anyway, shout out to all of them. Shout out to Jesus in Nazareth. Good looks, my guy. Good looks. But, you know, at the same time, like, I think it's really cool, you know, when family members do that for each other, and when they, you know. Because I think a big temptation that when you love somebody and they die like that, like, it's to look away from it, not,
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I've done that, you know, with certain folks, but that's good to look it in the face and anyway. Good song. It's a 10 for me.
I think I would go with a 10 as well. 10 all around.
Vin out.
Sori out.
Gone.
just in case I moved along. Something that I hope you remember, that life is not a game, it's a song. So take the best parts of me, locked away without the keys, and know